Welcome once again to Clinical Theurgy, episode 9 away from nice. Speaking of nice, all of you are alive. You've all gathered a lot of new information. Some useful, some not. What kind of new information have we learned? And what kind of new information will we learn?
Well, let's see. Last time, Ivy's blade wants her to go to the Twisting Sands northeast of Wassair, and wants her to research the old ones. Antaeus had a meeting with Sigmars, and they discussed business. Apparently, they're able to produce pure ether, and they want to experiment with the mind effects. Guron and Moirin visited the Suinal Temple, and they questioned him and said they will give the final judgment on the approval for his church when he can give each of them like the printed materials and they have time to review it. Antaeus visited Marjolaine. I don't probably butcher her name.
Sorry.
In her shop, and they discussed their relationship and what happened after their date last time, and they also discussed Tehran. Antaeus, I can't remember if this was last session, but he was visited by Tehran, and he was all like shadowy, and he seemed to have made a deal with probably Thoth, but I don't think it was explicitly stated. And they spent a few days, Antaeus and his girl spent a few days finding more about, he spent a few days finding out more about her and using her as a sounding board. We received our income and made our choice on houses. Niev was gardening and was visited by a pixie, and the pixie was asking her where the others went. Niev was able to kind of channel her other self and transported by plants to the new Feyan Empire. It was really dark. She went to the consulate and she happened to see the demon that they fought there, but it's like part Fey now. And it wanted her as speaker to let the others know that they're willing to negotiate, and tells her she should be herself more, and gave her the pieces to regain her old form. Later, after she got back, Antaeus and Niev met up. Antaeus was wanting help bonding with his Shadow Mastiff, who he named Naji. And Niev was helping as much as she could, but it's kind of different than a wolf. But also, while they were together, then Niev told him about the Feyan visit. He appraised the 3 pouches, and basically there were 3 different types of Fey, and they were going to basically experiment with her turning into one of these Fey. One of the things that she had in those pouches was a very expensive nymph's dew, and but Antaeus did tell her that it was really expensive and that sort of thing. And then right before we ended, Rion visited Ivy and gave her information and revealed that she was born in the Feyan Empire and she is a twin. The Fae were supposed to keep her twin, but he escaped and is about to take leadership in the City of Changing Names, and said that she would be rewarded if she were to kill him. And so that's kind of where we left off.
Yeah, that was all he said. He definitely didn't say anything more extreme than that.
Yeah, you said I wasn't gonna, something about, like, I wouldn't even be, like, saving myself or anything in the process. Like, alluded that none of this is actually gonna save anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Your best method is to just finish yourself off. And
Yes.
Sounds like my sex life.
Ooh, dang, the rare self-burn.
Well, we can... I don't know if there's, like, specific stuff you guys have that you want to do, but time is just kind of moving as we go through some of these things. If anybody has any very specific things they want to do or want to discuss, I know there's the bonding exercises with Naji, I think, does Ivy want to follow up on researching some of the stuff about the Twisting Sands?
Yeah, that and what like the old ones or whatever are supposed to be considered, because it was something about like I'm supposed to like be able to like take it down or something for good. So obviously it makes it sound like we're gonna have to fight this thing. So if there are any rumors on like what this is, so I have an idea of like what to tell the group that we would be like going up against.
Yeah. Gulran is sort of waiting on the book to be published, but does Gulran have other things that he wants to be working on during that time?
I mean, you alluded to that I would unofficially be able to start working on the church. Does that mean I'm allowed to like break ground, like start building, or do I have to actually get an official?
You are allowed to make preparatory work, but groundbreaking cannot officially happen yet. It's really not a groundbreaking. There are already certain buildings in the district. So you would be taking one of those buildings. So if we look here in the Divine Gardens, there are a set of buildings. You'll be getting one of these smaller buildings on the outskirts. So it won't be a new building per se, but there is work that you can be making plans for and getting preparatory stuff done. And because you have so many of the documents already, people are willing to work with you on what it is that you want to do. But there are limitations set by the size of your church. So, like, your building can't exceed a certain size or can't exceed, like, a certain value in presentation. So, like, it can't be more illustrious than any of the other more major religions. That's why, like, Anher and Lars have two of the largest buildings that are here.
Yeah, I think the only, like, out of the normal flow of the day where I'm, like, drawing up, like, helping with blueprints or figuring that stuff out, I think I'm taking, like, maybe 5 or 6 hours out of the day to go on, like, a hike out of the city to gather some stone.
Okay.
And then, like, bringing it back. And, like, slowly I want to make enough stone where I could be using stone shape to make, like, a statue of Krauskron. I just think, like, a personal touch of the cleric, like, oh, like when it's ready and everything,
yeah.
like, I could be like, I made that with my bare hands. Like, something like that would be, like, a way to bring people into the church more, too. So I think I'm just gathering, like, large stones, like, slow process, like, bringing, like, one, like, on my back every day until I have, like, enough blocks to, like, start stone shaping and, like, working on it.
No, and it adds that level of, you know, putting in the work, like, pushing through, like, showing your resolve in what you're doing. So yeah, I think that's very fitting. Well, time will just kind of pass as it does. Things will change. Did I compensate you guys yet?
You gave us either 3,000 platinum or 300 sapphire.
Yep. Just wanted to make sure.
I, as Niev, do want to try the Fey Inform thing, as well as at some point I would want to report to the ministry about what happened with me going to the Feyan Empire, because since they told me I should spread that message, then I guess I would feel a little bit compelled to actually talk to them about it.
When do you want to try the Fey Form thing, and under what circumstances?
Well, I was thinking probably, I don't know, the next day from when Antaeus had appraised the pouches.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be like a hard and fast, like it has to be the next day, but I guess because Antaeus likes to experiment and stuff, I would want him to be present.
Sure. And what are the circumstances?
Just basically that, just the, you know,
so you
probably
by yourself in your yard doing this?
With Antaeus.
With just Antaeus.
Unless the others want to be there, but
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I want to make sure before we get started I know who or who is not involved. Because different people might have different opinions. There might be, I don't know, stubborn mule heads that will try to talk you out of it, or might be entirely uninterested and complaining about why are you doing this boring shit. Or
I
might
would-
also be a counterbalance to Antaeus, who's going to treat you literally like you're just an experiment in a jar.
Well, I would, I guess, after Antaeus leaves, I would have gone over to, I guess, Goron and Ivy and just tell them, hey, I got this, piece of my past Feyan self. If you guys, I'm going to be experimenting with it tomorrow in my yard. If you want to come, you're welcome to. You don't have to.
I
Well,
mean,
let's-
how much do you tell us here? Because I feel like this is something that either should be RP'd or you
Oh
need a
no,
little
we're
bit more...
going to. We'll actually
Okay.
start with you since you voiced your opinion. So Niev comes over, and that is how she starts her explanation.
Yeah, so how did you get these parts of your old selves?
Well, so the other day I was gardening and a pixie found me and was asking where the rest of the Fae had gone. And when I started thinking about it and trying to help the pixie, then it's hard to explain, but I kind of became my old self a little bit. And I used this new spell that I have acquired called, it allows me to transport myself by plants. And I took the pixie to the Feyan Empire. So when I got there, it was dark, and I went to the consulate, and as it turns out, that demon that we fought was there. And he was part Fae, and he gave me these pieces and said I should be myself more.
So the demon that ate Gulron, you're just accepting supposed parts of yourself from and just trusting that he's not lying to you and trying to kill us in some other way?
Well, fortunately, Antaeus was able to appraise these pieces and confirmed that they are from actual Fae. And most likely, I don't have any reason to think that these wouldn't be potentially Fae that I had been in a past life.
Sure, but that still implies that we're just trusting the demon, right? Demon that ate Gulron. Literally ate Gulron. That I sat there and attempted to stab to death for eating Gulron until he flew the fuck away, and we're just trusting this?
I'm not necessarily trusting it, but at the same time, it's more like there's a part of myself that I want to know more about, and I know you know what that's like. So,
And you know how you treated me when I wanted to know what was happening with me. You understand here how I was treated when I just needed to know more for what I did, and now you're asking me to trust you in the same situation.
well, I would say the difference between that scenario and this scenario was that number one, we had said not to touch that thing, and you did it
So
anyway.
if I say, I don't think you should do this,
then I would say you don't have to attend. I would never want to put your life in danger. And that was what we were not sure what would happen when you touch that thing. So if you don't want to attend, that's fine. I just wanted to be sure that you knew that I'm going to be doing this. I have no problems experimenting on myself. I just don't want someone else to suffer the consequence.
And am I supposed to believe that if I said, okay, sure, I'll wait till you guys aren't around so I don't risk you all, that you were just going to let me do that? You're just going to leave the item and see, look at Antaeus' face right now.
Antaeus
No, he
isn't
was-
here.
Yeah, and Tace isn't
Oh.
here.
Oh, okay.
so-
I
Imagine
thought
his
he
face
was.
right now.
You think Antaeus was just going to let me experiment on this item if I said, okay, I'll wait? Like, no, that was not going to happen.
The
My options
bottom
were...
line is that item was Antaeus' item. And so if he said he didn't want you experimenting on it, then yeah, I would have said you shouldn't do that. This is my item, and I'm going to experiment with it.
Sure, an item that a demon gave you that ate Gulron and could have potentially killed us all. But if that's what you want to do, you can do that. I'll see how everyone else feels on this before I I decide if I will be in attendance or not.
As a viewer, I must say, by the way, and I know this is sort of breaking the wall, but I apologize. It is great the level of animosity that Ivy still feels towards the party for that. It warms my heart. Carry on. I'm sorry.
No, you know, it's not like that I was shaking my head in anger as Niev when she was non-apologizing to the group before, and I wasn't there, so... Alright, so I guess I would leave Ivy at this point and go to Goron.
Yeah. You make your way.
I'll go with. I want to know what Goron has to say on this. I will come with.
Yeah, so you start walking away, and Ivy just swings the door the rest of the way and like starts trotting along behind you.
Let's go talk to Goron about this.
Goron, there is a knock at your door.
I imagine I'm like, I have like some meal in front of me, and I don't know if this is late in the day or something.
It would be late in the day, yeah, because they were doing a lot of training with Najee beforehand.
So I'm like poring over a bunch of these scrolls, showing the blueprints of the temple, and just like stroking my beard, thinking of like, oh, maybe if I put the statue over here or whatever, and then like I hear a knock on the door. Ugh.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you're doing that, do you have like little cutouts of the statue that you're like moving around on the scroll?
No, maybe I'm using one of my effigies that I burned.
And just like sliding it along the place. Okay.
Like the old war councils.
Yeah.
3 statues will defend the border. Maybe is there a spell I could animate them to defend it if it were attacked? Oh, this would be cool.
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there?
It's me, Goron, and Ivy.
I'm gonna put
No, that was me. Whitney, that was me. Sorry.
I slept out of bed for you.
Oh.
Sorry.
I hide my scrolls away. I don't want them to see my secret plans. And
okay.
Yeah, I think I want to keep it secret from anyone. I don't think anyone should know like the blueprints of my temple. I don't know, keep the structure safe from anyone, everyone. So yeah, I put the scrolls away and I creak the door open. It's late. What are you doing here?
Well, something's come up and I wanted to just let you know.
You can see Ivy like kind of standing over her shoulder as she's saying this, by the way.
Yeah, I think I'm just in full paranoid mode. Does it seem like it's really them?
It does seem like it's really them, yes.
I'll open it fully instead of just a crack and say, come in.
I'll come in. I'm actually going to...
As they come in, I look around and I close the door.
I'm going to do a perception around the room. Do I see like anything out of place? Like maybe he hastily put something away.
Yeah. Give me a sleight of not really a sleight of hand. Give me like a stealth check here to try to hide away the stuff. Yeah, for Gulron.
Can I take off my armor penalty? I don't think.
Yes, you won't. You won't have an armor penalty because you're hiding it, not yourself.
It's like -6. I'm like, okay, that's not good.
We'll just ignore the armor penalty.
Ooh.
Okay, so. You will notice that there's like some stuff that's a little out of place, like off to one area, but you can't really tell quite what it is. But it definitely wasn't there before. But I mean, that could just be that Gulron's trying to reorganize things in his house. Like, there doesn't necessarily have to be something.
I'll be like, was I interrupting something, Gulron?
No, just eating dinner.
Oh.
What would Goron be doing? He doesn't have a girlfriend. What would he be interrupting?
Maybe he has special alone Goron time.
Look, I don't want to know about his special alone Goron time. If he has special alone Goron,
special alone Goron time is very important.
Okay, sure, it's important.
Krasgoran.
Can you listen to this dumb shit Niev wants to do
alone
right now?
time with Krasgoran.
Can we stop talking about Krasgoran for a second?
Have you come to your senses? Do you all want to learn more about Krasgoran? It's an odd time, but I'm always down for a lesson.
No.
I thought maybe when you were dead, but you're not dead, so now I don't have to think about that.
Wow.
So what you're saying is Goron has to die for you to be interested in his...
Yeah, that's a little rude, Ivy.
It was more of, I respect you enough to try to want to make sure the last thing I knew you want done got done. But now you're alive and you can just do it yourself.
So you don't want to do it while I'm alive, but it's fine when I'm dead?
Yeah.
Jeez.
She's a little temperamental. It might be her magical time of the month.
Excuse me, this has a fey parts from a demon that ate Gulron. You want to tell him about that?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. You want to talk about my magical time of the month?
I'm just saying you're a little feisty. Perhaps you should calm down. Gulron, do you have calm emotions prepared?
Dumb shit. Don't you dare cast a spell on me. I am pure magic. I will see. Don't you freaking dare.
So here's the sitch.
The sitch.
So I was gardening. I'm just dying over here. It's okay. So I was gardening, and as I was gardening, a pixie appeared. And the pixie asked me where the other fae had gone. And I guess they still kind of come to me because I'm supposed to be the speaker. And so as I was trying to help, something in my Faian nature kind of took over, and I was able to use this spell that I just recently learned to like transport myself through the plants. And I was able to guide this pixie to the Faian Empire. And when I got there, it was dark. And at the consulate, the demon that ate you was there. But he was not...
Demon that ate you. The demon that ate you.
But he was not the way that we last saw him. He was like corrupted or turning part Fae.
Corrupted. Yeah, that makes it sound a whole lot better.
Corrupted by the Faian influence. It was like he was a hybrid Fae/demon type thing.
Lovely. Like the Fae part of you that tries to stab me all the time?
Ivy,
am I
please,
telling the story or not?
All right,
Quiet
fine,
down,
I'll shut up.
let me hear the full story.
So this creature told me to spread the message to the ministry, which I am planning on letting Rion know, that they are willing to negotiate, and that he said that I should try being myself more. And of course, I do have a spell that allows me to transform into a fae, but in order to use that spell, I have to have the parts of a fae. And I was hesitant to even use it up till now because of the forest and the problems that were happening there. And so he gave me 3 bags. They had parts from my past lives, from the creatures I used to be in my former lives. And he said I should try being myself more, and basically this would allow me to transform into the form that I used to be. And so what I was letting Ivy know is that, I had Antaeus look at them. They are indeed Fae parts. And so tomorrow I'm planning on testing this out. I told Ivy she didn't have to be there. I'm not looking to risk her life. I just wanted everybody to know they're welcome to be there if they want. You all don't have to if you don't want.
Did it ever occur to you that maybe you might not want to be one of your past lives?
Well, if the things that have been told to me are true, I worked pretty hard to not be Fae. I wanted to be a person, a non-Fae person, but I feel like that it's a balance, right? You have to have respect for where you came from to affect your future as well.
I don't know. I haven't seen very many positive Fae.
What if you were a murderer in your past life? Did you respect that from the progress you made not to become that evil person?
Well, I don't think that it's necessarily going to completely take me over. I'm not going to just completely become my past self. It's more like I become the form of my past self.
Well, I was hoping to never share this with you, but you remember some time ago when I had the vision and I told you I saw you in my dream, but I didn't actually tell you the details?
Yes.
I saw you as a Feyan creature, and you were shaded and evil, and you tried to kill me.
Well, that is concerning. Do you...
I didn't think to bring it up to you until now, because I didn't think it was relevant, and I didn't want to frighten you, because I didn't think it was even a possibility, or if it was just an omen or some far-off thing that was trying to frighten me. But now you're talking about becoming some Fae, and I had this premonition of you becoming a dark Fae, and you wanted to hurt people. Are you sure this is... And you got these from the damn demon that tried to kill me? Well, did kill me. And you want to trust it? Put these things inside of you? How do you know they're even your past lives? What if it's evil Fae and it's to corrupt you? Shouldn't you get these checked out by... I mean, I can detect evil on them tomorrow, or... You seem to be moving through this pretty quickly. Shouldn't you maybe seek a sage in the city or someone wise of age, and maybe they've heard stories of this stuff? Have you done any of this?
Do you remember what sort of Feyan creature I was when I
don't remember character-wise, Steve. Can Gulran remember?
I don't think Gulran knew, right? Gulran doesn't have any ranks in knowledge nature, correct?
Yeah, he didn't. Well, I just mean like if I could describe it to her.
Yeah, you can try to describe it to her, and then she can try to check for it.
Sure, I'll describe the features as I mean, as a player, I vaguely remember you describing it as like a silhouetted figure that it seemed tall. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all I could remember, like lanky and tall, and it was like frightening to go around. That's all I could remember.
Yeah, Niv, give me a knowledge nature check. Hold on one second. I need to double check something from your sheet because I fucked up on my own personal notes. And I fucked up in the description I gave you. Sweet. I have to look this up for the 4th time. Because I keep forgetting what this creature was called. And I also forget whether or not... What was it? Spell it out for me? Or
it's let's see.
Because that sounds correct.
Baccae.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Abaka?
Abaka!
I believe that is how you'd say that.
Baka.
But yeah, you would know what he describes to be this creature. It is a creature that, when angered or drunk, can be driven into strong fits of rage. It can do things that are quite dangerous to other things. This would be linked to the one that you assume is probably likely to be the one with the
hair.
Yeah, and the joy of stabbing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, those are valid concerns, Goron. I didn't know about that particular...
And if my memory serves me right, the reason I had this vision is when you can correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, if I'm misremembering. When you cast a shared memory or something like that, when you wanted to see the memory that I saw, and I saw this instead. It was like I saw a piece of you inside you, and didn't you have issues with your knife hand with stabbing Ivy a little too out of control? It feels like maybe this is one of your past lives that you probably don't want to revisit.
I will show him the pouch with the hair. I'll say, yes, this one, that is the one you're describing.
Ugh.
So perhaps I don't experiment with this one. Although that was the one I was considering experimenting with, so it's probably a good thing we talked. The other two are a dryad and a nymph. So
Do I know anything about? I don't have knowledge in nature, I guess.
Probably not. I mean, you would have at least known about nymphs, having worked in the church. There are people that like really overly fantasize about like nymphs. Even people that like have never seen it, or some people will like go like as the mistress was starting to come up. There were like these little hints of like these people that kept talking about how they had an experience of being with a nymph, or like getting to see a nymph and like getting to have that. But like these were sort of like the kind of thing where, yeah, sure, buddy, whatever. Like there hasn't been a nymph in these parts for, centuries. I don't know.
But they're typically not known to be like an evil creature per se, like murdering kind of like, sure they might like blind people or whatever, but like not like killing and stuff.
Yeah,
like
if a nymph is blinding somebody, it is usually either like out of that like shock, like something has appeared before them and they don't know what's about to happen, and so bam, their blindness their beauty ends up blinding them, or it's an actual like full on defense mechanism where they are trying to impress their beauty to make sure that they can get out of a situation.
Well, I don't know if you want to do a little more research into these parts to make sure they're not dangerous. We only know one of these is definitely probably dangerous, but...
Yes, I don't think I want to shift into the Bake, especially if Ivy's around.
What was about this creature?
That's the stabby creature. It's also the one Goron had the vision about of me killing.
Is there no expert druid or someone that would be versed on these matters you could talk to? If not, I would at least...
druids.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only druids we've met were those giants, but
you knew they were less powerful than you when you had talked to them.
Yeah.
At the very least, I would ask that you let me do some preliminary detections on these things to make sure they're not obviously bad for you. I
think that's a wise idea. I'm not trying to be reckless about this, but again,
to be frank, Niev, I wouldn't trust the creature that killed me.
I
don't think he has our best interests at heart.
I don't necessarily trust him, but at the same time, I feel it's my duty to inform the ministry, at least, that they're willing to negotiate. And
of course, but it's not your duty to just experiment with what he gave you. What if it's a trap? What if he gave you all evil parts in these things and it will contaminate you or something?
Well,
aren't you worried? Aren't you worried for your own life when you're doing this?
I don't know. I just feel like that I have a desire to know more about this side of me, even though, by all accounts, I worked very hard to gain a humanoid form. I feel like that the more I know about this side, the more that I can potentially help with this whole issue with the Phaean Empire.
I think everyone has a duty to explore their origins. If you remember, I put us all at a bit of risk to meet those dwarves in those caves. I felt a connection to them. It's how I discovered Kraskaron. If I didn't take that risk, I don't know what kind of cleric I would be today. So I won't tell you not to do this, but I can tell you I'm not on board with it, but I'll be there to help you if you need it.
I will say this, Goron. If my actions somehow lead to danger for yourself, Antaeus, or Ivy, if she happens to be there, please prioritize yourselves first. Like I said, I just don't want anyone else to get hurt, but I do feel like this is important and worth doing.
A smile will kind of creep up on Goron, maybe not meaning to smile, and he'll say, I can't do that, right? I'll die for every one of you before myself.
Well, hopefully it won't come to that.
Yes, just merely begun retirement. Wouldn't do well to
die.
leave my church unfinished.
Yes. Well, but then perhaps Ivy will convert.
I'm hoping I can get you guys to convert while I'm still alive.
By the way, what was that face you made, Ivy, when I said something about Rion?
I just think telling him about this Fae stuff is a bad idea. Rion, there is something about Rion. He knows more than he should, and I have some stuff to tell you guys about me and things he came to me and told me about me, and he knows too much, and he's creepy, and I think he just kind of wants me to kill myself.
What?
Did he say that? That he wants you to kill yourself?
He alluded to that. A better option than trying to save my family line would be maybe just kill myself.
What a terrible thing to say to someone.
That is horrible.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, be careful what you say to Rion. I don't trust him.
Perhaps
Who do you
I'll
think-
have some words with him.
So who do you think I should send this message to?
I think Maha would be a better option. I think Maha would at least... I feel like Maha at least will know that it's coming from a place of good, and will know that if this is something you should not be saying to the ministry for some reason, or if it could harm you in some way, Maha would at least let you know, like, pretend like you never said this and go on or something. Whereas Rion, I feel like he'll just use anything he can against you.
Well, certainly I don't want to trust someone who would say to someone to just kill themselves. That's a horrible thing to say.
Or maybe even, like, go back to Ninaslav. Like, he always, he was a good boss. He was a good leader for us. Like, at least he treated us like respectful people. Yeah, he may have reprimanded us when we did shit wrong, but I mean, that's what happens when you do shit wrong. Like, there's just something not right about Rion.
Well, I think that perhaps you're onto something with Maha. She was the one that also told us that we needed to kill what was at the center of the forest. I don't know if she meant the demon, though, or if she was just talking about the nymph, but we probably should...
If she meant the demon, though, how do you feel about that?
I have no love for this demon. I'm not protecting it. It's just, it didn't seem to be the same kind of creature that we encountered at the forest. That it had changed.
Give me a will save, Niev.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel like a little twinge of, like, just the slightest pain in your head, but the sun is kind of in a weird place, so it must be getting your eyes in a weird way, but just like the littlest, like, it's a soft pain, like if somebody pushed on your head really hard for a couple of seconds. It'll fade in time, but man, it's annoying that it's there.
I probably would just sort of be like, kind of... Yes. I think I will make a point before I test any of this out to talk to Maha. If any of you want to go with, I think I will be doing that tomorrow before I test any of this out.
Have you already spoken to Antaeus about all this? Is he meeting us tomorrow?
Yeah, he actually was. He was the one that identified these components for me. I was helping him bond with his shadow mastiff. So he already knows about that, but I think I will just drop by his place real quick if he's home and let him know that I'm going to meet with Maha before we do any kind of experiments.
All right. I will... no need to bring me along to the Maha thing. I have some business I want to attend to in the morning, but I'll meet you what time at your garden?
I would say afternoon.
All right, yeah.
After lunchtime, because I know that the time's different in this. But after lunch.
I mean, noon is still an acceptable term, so.
Okay.
Sounds good. I have more than enough time to get my morning chores done.
I'll have something for lunch set out in case you don't get a chance to eat.
Maybe I'll treat us to a meal that day.
Oh, that's very nice.
Isn't it nice
It'll
that
be
it
a-
doesn't have a material component?
It'll be a feast of heroes.
Oh, even better. All right. Well, thank you for hearing me out, and I appreciate your thoughts on this. And yeah, I guess I'll just pop by Antaeus's and knock on his door just to.
Is Ivy following behind still, or is Ivy sticking to talk to Gulran, or is Ivy just gonna go home?
Nah, I'll go home at this point.
Okay.
I just wanted to just see Gulron's reaction. I wanted to be like, Gulron, tell her this is a bad idea.
I'll try to stop her from leaving and ask her if she wants to learn more about Krasgron.
No.
I'll say, but Ivy, how are you going to spread his church if you don't know more about Kraskaron?
I never said I was doing that.
Bye. Bye.
I kind of give her like the sad puppy eye look and like, what if I die? And you never learned about Krasgron.
You have books, right? I'll just read it.
You can read?
Oh
Wow, I'm
I
really
didn't
blown
know!
away now. Jeez! How dumb do you think I am?
You didn't pay attention in class. I thought it's because you couldn't read.
No, it's because your content was boring.
Gulran charisma. So yeah, you can get over to Antaeus's.
One moment, I'll start putting away some of my things I'm working on.
Everyone's putting away things.
Put them away, no. Make my way to the door. Oh, hello, Niev.
Hey, sorry to bother you again. I just wanted to kind of let you know I talked to Ivy and Gulron about the experiment that we were planning on doing. Gulron Ivy's just Ivy.
Yes.
She fails to see how this is different than what she did, so
That doesn't surprise me. Ivy seems to be brash and, not often willing to listen to reason.
yeah. So, but Gulron, he has concerns, obviously. I mean, considering where the components came from and all.
Of course.
He wants to look them over and make sure they're not evil.
I don't know if they might radiate something evil. I'm not sure. That is a very good idea, though.
Yeah. And so he'll be there. I'm not clear whether or not Ivy will be or not. But tomorrow morning, I was going to go to Rion and tell him about the message from the demon that they're willing to negotiate. But Ivy got a little bit strange. Apparently, Rion told her to kill herself. He said that it would be preferable to her, breaking her family curse.
Seems a bit harsh even for him.
Yeah. So she's not too keen on us trusting Rion, and maybe suggested instead to speak with Maha, which probably actually wouldn't be a bad idea. Maha was the one that kind of was talking with us a little bit at that last dinner party about, killing what was at the heart of the forest. So the plan is, I'm going to go speak with Maha in the morning. Goron said he had something to do, and after lunchtime, actually Goron's going to cater lunch for us. So after lunchtime, then we'll do the experiment.
This might sound mean, but is he making the food?
He said it was a feast fit for heroes, is what he said.
Oh, good. Nothing against him. I just don't think I've ever seen him actually prepare a meal, which I wouldn't know how it would turn out. But a hero's feast is sounds good actually, and well deserved, I suppose.
Yes. Well, I thought that as long as we were, doing experimenting, it's not good to experiment on an empty stomach.
Good point. Also, speaking of Maha, I was actually thinking about going to visit her soon anyways, in regards to these situations. Well, I do... That night of the, party actually got me thinking quite a bit. I don't know much about Maha, and I think it would behoove me to find out more to make sure that she's as, trustworthy as she says she is, but given the circumstances, she appears to be more trustworthy than Rian or anybody else of that ilk. Her parents, or Ivy's parents as well, or them too, but Elizabeth's parents.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know the ins and outs of the ministry. I just know what I've experienced since I've been here. I guess there's an inherent trust you give to people that are in positions of authority over you sometimes, and maybe that's not always the best idea, but...
Yes, I mean, I agree. I think it's most circumstances and with most information, that's probably a good idea to some degree, but we are dealing with things that are very atypical, to say the least, and I have some concerns that the military would not give us the same benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, well, I guess if you want, you're welcome to tag along with me to see Maha, and hopefully, we can kind of gauge the situation from there. I don't feel too much reservation about sharing this Thayan Empire thing with her, simply because I was told to share it. So,
yes, that's true. And she did bring up that whatever we were doing, we probably should have taken care of. I don't know implicitly that she knew what was going on, but at least not to the same level Rihanna seemed to.
Yeah, that was something else Ivy mentioned, is that Rian seems to have a very intimate knowledge of a lot of things. And
yes.
So...
Yes, I'm not great at noticing things like that in the moment as they're happening, but that's what research is for, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll see you in the morning then, and we can go talk to Maha.
Excellent.
All
See you in
right.
the morning.
The two of you can set off in the morning to speak to Maha. She is at work. When you set out to find her, it is the day, and that is her time to work. It will take you several hours before you'll be able to meet with her, however. She is a busy person, managing the ministry the best that she can, but she will inevitably see you. Oh, hello, welcome, and please take a seat. Things have been busy as of late.
Oh, yes. Thank you for making time to see us.
Well, can't deny speaking with the heroes of our fine city.
Yes, well, it's kind of a surreal experience. I don't think of myself that way. I think of myself as just a regular person, but...
Oh, that's what they all say. So
well,
humble.
Most of them, yes. I think what we've done is something that is not achievable by most people in the city, I would say, but...
Let's not let things go to our head now. There are more of you that do this than you think.
That's true. But,
they're just not
statistically
always as well publicized. You happen to be working under somebody who had strong interests in making sure that your victory was well publicized.
This is true.
That is
Very true.
true. Yes. Well, I wanted to see you today because I had an unusual experience, and I thought that it might be something that should be brought to your attention. While I was, I don't know, how much do you know about me exactly?
We're in the
She
ministry
looks
building,
at
right?
Antaeus. Classified or unclassified?
We're in the ministry building, right?
Yes.
Is this? I'll look at Maha and say, "Is this the best time to speak about this?" I don't know if you.
She'll look at you almost crossly. I am literally the most powerful person in this building. Do you think proper precautions wouldn't be taken to ensure that I have the highest security room here?
That's fair. I just didn't know if the setting would be better elsewhere, but
Also,
that's a fair
I would have assumed by now, Antaeus, that this long and you would have learned to speak in turn and not out of turn. No offense,
Yes,
but
that's a fair point. I do tend to interrupt more often than I probably should.
well, you're not as bad as Ghoulrun, at least.
Well, back to your question. So you know I'm a druid, right?
Yes.
And do you know that I have a Fae inside?
Did you know that you disappeared from your backyard for a period of about an hour?
Funny enough, that's exactly what I was coming to talk to you about.
And that you were basically untraceable during such time?
Well, so from my perspective, what happened, and I'll explain, kind of about the pixie, and when I emerged from this plant, I was in the Phaean Empire. It was dark. There was a consulate building that I was going to take the pixie to, and at that building, the demon that we fought in the forest was there, but he was different. He had like some Phaean part to him. It was like he was changing, maybe becoming part Fae. And he said that he wanted me to relay a message that they are willing to negotiate.
Did he proclaim himself the current to the throne?
I can't remember. Did he?
He did not speak of that.
No, he did not. He did not speak of that.
Yet he was giving you instructions to begin the dialogue.
Yes.
Oh.
There are extensive notes about you that are lacking lots of details. But the good news is, some of you have been keeping up certain things. You used to be a Fae, if I understand it. Is that correct?
Yes. This creature, he gave me pieces of my past self and said that I should take my true form more often.
Well, first of all, I would say that calling it a true form is a misnomer. I feel like your true form is whatever you are. I understand that Fae go through a cycle. They move from life to life, experiencing the world in different ways, in a way that many, many here would love to be able to accomplish. I imagine, though, that there is value in having you be more empathetic to the Phaean cause, and that your strange biology would be in some way linked to why there is an interest from them in this. Antaeus, what do you know about your friend here?
Well, I know about that much as you seem to know, at least. And I know what these things are these components are that she was given. Yes, I'm relatively sure that I know what they are. Outside of that, I don't believe too terribly much in the terms of the ban situation.
I must make something very clear. This is my responsibility as the current person in charge of the ministry. You currently hold a badge. And as such, if you do perform negative action, you make a mockery of the ministry. So if you wish to speak on behalf of the ministry, or on behalf of this Feyn Empire, as they've asked you to do, I will need you to turn over your badge. This will mean, however, that, well, we will not revoke your home from you. You will be on the hook for its expenses over time.
Well, I don't necessarily... I would like to continue in my capacity as a ministry employee. I don't have a lot of control over the incidents that have happened thus far. Obviously, I do feel when approached by a Fae, I felt compelled to help. But I don't necessarily want to be that emissary.
Very well. I will keep that in mind. I personally would not put a lot of trust in demons, regardless of their reformation. If what I understand from the report is true, it was the demon that was corrupting the Fae and not the other way around. When the demon had been dispatched from the location, it does appear that everything began to clear up.
Yes. The trees even were apologizing.
I truly wish we could have gotten a little more information about what was going on there, but priority one was getting things under control, and you accomplished that.
Well, this is why I wanted to come to you, is I don't wish to withhold any of this information. It's, like I said, it's not really something I've had a lot of control over thus far.
Yes, I understand. I have to advise you, though, that what you are doing right now will not be perceived well by your superior. And, well, I can overrule a decision made by your superior. Doing so looks bad upon my position. I must be elected each go-round to this position to retain it, and the election is not by the people, it is by those who I serve. I would be careful in coming to me for answers where you should be speaking to your superior, because I am unfortunately required, as part of the policy, to share the information of our meeting with your superior.
Well,
the details don't necessarily have to be there, but that we had a meeting and the nature of the discussion must be brought up.
I see. Well, perhaps I just didn't realize the chain of command when a demon tells me that he wants a message sent. I would assume it would be to the head of the organization that he wants it sent to.
When working on the chain of command, things do get rather complicated. I do understand how that can be perceived that way, but aspects of the ministry do not work the way that I want them to, and reforming them is a very slow process. You must bring people over to your understanding and hope that they will move with you as you try to make change. And if you fail, well, it's all for nothing. You could simply lose your job.
Do you think that it would be better in this case for me to then follow up and tell Rion that we've had a meeting myself?
No. Rion is a sensitive person, and I think if you went to him directly, he would likely take it as an insult. I think it better that I clarify things in the way that I am going to clarify them, and things will work out in the best possible circumstances.
Very well. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
You're welcome.
You said you're in charge of the ministry, correct?
Yes.
Would I know offhand how long she's been in that position?
Since the last leader abdicated the position.
Oh yeah,
at Elizabeth's coronation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So best not to rock the boat so soon. Got it.
Well,
Okay.
Again, she's also right. I mean, this is a very complicated situation. She's not given this position by the city. The city does not elect this position. The direct ministry heads decide on who will be in this position. They could at any time oust someone from this position as well. It's very difficult. It takes a very large majority vote in order to oust them. But it is a possibility, and if she lost this position, it could be more devastating. That's part of why when the previous person abdicated, they abdicated to her as opposed to anyone else.
If she suddenly started doing things against the book, then it would probably look bad, and the rest
Right,
of
or
the
even
ministry
rocking the
probably
boat
not.
just enough in general might be enough to throw all of them, off.
Yeah. I suppose that I did have some more personal questions, but I suppose that would be better suited for a time outside of work hours.
Yes, perhaps.
Excellent. Well, I don't know if you'd rather reach out to me or I can make some time in a schedule, but well, we can figure something out.
We'll figure something out.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Good day, Niev and Teus.
Good day.
Yeah, and you can, by about that point, by the time you get home, it's about afternoon. You can see Gulran and his Ivy waiting outside of Niev's house.
Play my morning chores.
What are your morning chores? Going out to get your giant stone?
Yes, and on my way back, I'd like to see Rion.
Okay. Yeah, you can also head into the ministry then. Oh, what are you here for, Gulran?
Where are we speaking right now? Is it like a private room he's brought me
Yeah,
into?
you're in his office. He has a private office.
Just wanted to see how you're doing. How's everything going at the ministry?
Gulran, we know that's why you're not. We know that that's not why you're here. I assume you spoke to Ivy.
Gulran kind of squint his eyes. You ever talk to my friend like that again? And I won't be coming here for words next time.
He snaps his fingers and the door slams shut, and you hear a clicking noise, and he stands up. Let me assure you, Gulran. that if I ever have you talk to me like that again, I will not let the room execute you as it could. I myself will personally remove you from this existence.
That may have scared me before I died. You'll have the wrath of Kraskuran on you if you did something so cowardly. Wishing someone would take their own life. What kind of man are you?
That is not precisely what I said, Gulran. My statement was that it would be better for her to take her life once all of this was said and done and remove all of these problems than to think that whatever the end of this path is going to solve them. She eliminates whatever's out in the twisting sands, she eliminates her brother, and then she cleans up the mess by eliminating herself. The curse doesn't move on, no one else has to deal with it. We're all rid of a lot of problems.
Well, maybe next time keep your fancy advice to yourself before you wish someone take their own life. Life is precious.
Then
have you been on death's door before? Have you seen what's on the other side?
Yes and yes, Gulran. I have done both. I cannot speak of these things in the way that I do if I had not taken the chances myself, come to gain the understanding, the knowledge as it were. Once upon a time you used to care about knowledge, didn't you, Gulran? And now all of a sudden knowledge is just secondary to whatever this fervor is that you've suddenly developed.
I still care about knowledge, but I care about my friends more and their lives, and they shouldn't be given so freely just to pleasure yourself with your worry about a curse going to someone else. I don't trade lives. I would die for my friends.
You think I do this for my pleasure, Gulran? You think that I want to have to tell someone that their life would be better if they weren't here? That would be...
It sure sounds like it.
It would be so much easier, Gulran, if I could just wish them a better day. If I could mosey on up to their door, tell them that everything is going to be sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, and I could give them a big feast to enjoy and a big hug and tell them it's all going to be all right, and then walk away saying, have a sunny day. But we don't live in that world, Gulran. We live in a world where things want us to die. Every time I turn around, there's another problem looking to kill us, Gulran.
Boo-hoo, I'm scared of some death. Well, I'll tell you what, we live in different worlds, boy. In my world, you wish someone death. In my world, I would die for my friend before wishing something on them. And go and kind of get up and head towards the door.
He knocks on the table after he lets you fumble with the door for a moment, and the door will open. Good day, Gulran. Good day.
Good day, Rian.
Such a nice guy. And with that delightful conversation, let's go ahead and take a short break. Be back.
Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance.
It sounds like a specific reference, but I'm not entirely sure either.
I'm like, wait, what? I'm confused.
Everyone is confused.
I don't know.
A good
if I'm
place
just
to be
dumb.
as
So I don't
we-
want to Google it because obvious reasons.
Google it. Do it
as
for me,
we
so I don't have
journey
to.
back into the outskirts of Niev's house. Ghoulron and
Oh,
Ivy
no.
waiting on the
What is this?
outside.
That's Niev's cats.
But yeah, Niev and Antaeus will eventually come wandering up.
Hi guys. Did you have a productive morning?
Yeah, I slept in and used my training dummy. Yeah, that's.
Did you
stuff
get
up.
everything done that you wanted to get done, Goron?
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. What does that mean?
It's an unpleasant encounter, but I guess I don't know what I was hoping for. Anyway, hopefully this goes a little bit better. But first, let's have a wonderful feast.
Yeah, you all can set inside. Ghoulron can produce the Feast of Heroes.
What level are we? We are level 11, so everyone gets some sort of amount of temporary HP, 1d8 plus 1 point per 2 caster levels, so 5 plus 5.
Yeah.
1d8 plus 5. Temp HP. Minimum roll.
That's what
Yay.
that's what Steve likes to see.
Does he though?
Yeah. But you do manage to kill off some of the fungus that's on the table.
There's fungus on the table?
Yeah, I
Am
mean,
I able to have casted this morning as well? The component definitely, or technically, you need it inscribed with a good outsider's name. I don't know if I can have that or not, but
How would you get a good outsider's name?
I mean through some RP and getting
Pray to
it.
your
but-
deity, I need the name of a good outsider, please.
So we'll have to talk about how you get this, because you would not be able to. It is not super easy to get the name of a good aligned outsider.
Okay. Can I have not prepared that then, knowing that?
Yes, you could have not prepared that and prepare something else.
Okay. I will take that instead. And did we say we were diamond dust is still needed for stone skin or no?
I think I'm gonna go with no on this for right now. I'll see how it plays out.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's that powerful anyway. But
No, I think
I'll
the
put
the
stone
duration
skin.
really like nerfs it. If this were 2e stone skin where it went on forever, I'd say yeah. That's even if it were the current.
Oh, it's 10 minutes
ability.
per level? I thought it
It's
was
10
hours.
minutes per level.
Yikes. Okay, whatever. I still
Yeah.
have it prepared because it's my signature spell.
Yeah.
Then yeah, if I can't Eagle Soul, I'm just switching level 1 spell to take up Detect Evil because that's what I said I was going to do.
Yep.
I thought I could not do that, so I'll just switch that. And whenever appropriate, I would like to Detect Evil on these bags of Fey parts.
Yes, you will. So, are you detecting evil on the bags or on the objects inside the bag?
Well, it's a cone, so I'm gonna just try to like open it up. It's 10 minutes per level, so yeah, open up the bag and like look in and concentrate on the insides of the bag. Each bag, take time doing each one.
So the bags still have like a faint lingering aura of evil on them, but you'll notice that it's the kind of evil where something of very powerful evil was like holding these bags and had these on their person for quite some time. And so that lingering aura is just the amount of time that it was in the possession of something evil.
Okay, so I can clearly see the bag is evil, but not the parts.
Yes, the bag has that like the evil is kind of displacing into the air around it. So inevitably,
Okay, so I can clearly see it's not like the bag's not evil. It's because it has like a
Yes.
lingering fading effect. Okay.
But you know that this means it was it was basically under the possession of something of even more powerful than you, something maybe more powerful than you think the demon was, or maybe that demon was much more powerful than you might have thought it was, or it's hard to say. But to emanate this level of evil, it would have to be something profoundly evil. That it still like a day later got such a heavy stink on it. But yeah,
It
what's inside is not evil.
Seems like these body parts aren't inherently evil, but the bags reek of a stench of a creature that is very powerful. It lingers on it, which is not a good sign, but I guess inherently the parts aren't really evil.
Well,
The parts themselves, if they're from a dead creature, wouldn't come off as evil unless they were tampered with, I'm assuming.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they would not. If the bags are properly sealed, they would be separated from sort of getting the taint of darkness.
Well, I mean, like if it was like an evil creature's, like an arm or something like that, like, and you were to detect evil on it after it was dead, it wouldn't show up as evil still?
It would still show up as evil. There would still be a lingering aura of evil upon it. In
So
the way that this kind of works within the world, some things can imprint if they've had possession of something for long enough. So this would probably mean that, one, this thing was very powerful, and two, this thing has had possession of these things for a very, very, very long time. And so these bags have imprinted. The objects are sort of sealed off, so the imprint doesn't affect them, but the bags themselves are affected by its supernatural abilities, its spell-like abilities, any other things that it might be doing at the time. And so this is going to kind of fester into this leather bag.
Yeah. What I was wondering is, like, the components themselves, if they were from an evil creature, they wouldn't emanate evil after the
Depends on
creature's
how
dead, right?
long it's been since they've been
Oh, okay.
harvested.
So since it seems like this has been a long time, then probably not, I'm guessing. Okay.
Well, before you start any craziness, I'd like to put some of my protections on you.
certainly.
I'll cast status on everyone who's here. Shield others. And I'd like to consecrate her garden if I can.
That sounds kind of dirty, but yeah, you absolutely can.
Yes, Gulran, consecrate my garden.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. Saying it like that.
But yeah, these are all good things to do. You bust out your holy water and some silver dust and gradually kind of sprinkle it around the yard, and then kind of make the final motion to cause the burst of positive energy to cover the area.
Do you want to be protected from evil, Niev? I don't know what's going to interfere with you handling these bags.
Is that something that if it does interfere with it, that you can dismiss?
Does it have it is dismissible, yes. I could do that.
Finish your sentence. Does it have the D?
Does it have the D?
Yeah, I'll just put on you if it's messing things up. I can dismiss it.
So you'll know that you'll cast this, and you'll now know that even with protection from evil on, you have no problem handling the bags.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this will protect me as much as possible.
Wait. One more thing.
Okay.
Let me make sure I still have some of this. Spell component pouch. Yes, I have some eye ointments left. Let me remove that silver dust. I'm going to cast True Seeing and look at these things, see if there's anything hidden that we weren't seeing.
Oh.
As I take this eye ointment and squeeze it into my eyes and look at these parts to make sure there's no hidden illusions or...
Yeah, you drop in your clear eyes because it's awesome. And you can see things differently. You see things as they actually are. Let me double check some things about how this works.
I see their souls and they're as black as night.
So you see the objects, they are normal, but give me a perception check while you're looking with this on.
Indeed. Perception. Yeah.
So a couple of things that you do notice is that one of the plants in Niev's backyard It's kind of rather big, like viney kind of plant. Happens to have like the faint swirl of something that almost looks like a portal, but like an incomplete portal. It kind of like flickers and fades and then like comes back and kind of ebbs and flows in and out of visibility. You'll also notice that there is a very dark shadow over top of Ivy's body. It kind of like covers her from head to toe, but it blinks back and forth. So there's like shadow, then Ivy, then shadow, then Ivy, and this kind of like fading in and out, like it's almost breathing over top of her kind of look. And you'll notice that Antaeus also looks a bit like a shadow from head to toe, but like a literal shadow. Like it looks like the way he's standing right now, he actually looks like he's two-dimensionally flat on the ground.
Antaeus, don't take this the wrong way, but you feeling all right?
Should I not be?
You look like almost a shadow of your former self. No, but really, you look like an actual shadow.
Well, I guess that confirms that that's true then.
Is this a problem? Should we seek out an aid? Are you okay?
As okay as I have been.
Well,
I mean, are you just now remembering this? Is this not a thing?
I knew you were having issues with your shadow, but I didn't know you were actually a shadow.
That's what I was told anyways.
By who? Anyways, this is something maybe we can discuss later. Ivy, looking you over, it looks like you have something that's like masking you and breathing over you. Are you feel any different lately?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, you look normal, but what's up with your plant over there? And I'll point at the
Is that the
portal
plant
thing.
It's
that
the plant that you stepped through.
Oh, that's the one that I went through to go to the Fan Empire.
Oh. Is it always on? I thought you cast a spell to do that.
I thought I did too, but I guess maybe it's...
Give me a knowledge nature check as he says that.
Okay. Let's see here.
Specifically, her.
You can give me one as well. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right,
Well,
so
it's a good thing.
yeah, Niev, you've like this is a little outside of like what you're probably used to, but Antaeus is constantly reading about literally everything. So Antaeus will kind of remember there are sometimes portals that exist that need something to trigger them, and if the Fan Empire exists in some sort of secluded area that can't otherwise be reached, then your ability to move through plants could activate this portal to take you to where it's supposed to take you. But the question is, how did someone know to put you in a place where this portal happens to be, or how did this portal end up here? Did somebody put it in afterwards, beforehand? Because you planted the plants in this garden. Like, the more you think about it, I think the more questions will probably just fill your mind, and I'll let them do that naturally.
What kind of plant does it appear to look like to me?
It is like almost like a spider.
Like an ivy?
No, like a spider bush. I guess a spider bush is kind of ivy-like. But it kind of like stretches out in a bunch of different directions and covers over some of the other plants.
How long would it take for something like that to grow to the size that it is without magic?
It would take not a lot of time. This tends to be the kind of plant that grows relatively quickly without magic, and with magic it can grow much, much more quickly. But druids tending to plants tend to even passively have a much greater benefit on them than most normal people do. Now, some people have said that's just like a thing that people say, But you've seen actual numerical evidence that does show that a druid interacting with plants, even without casting magic, results in better plants than a regular person interacting with plants. But that could just be that the druid is naturally more skilled with the plants. So this could be like, all the evidence points to maybe, probably, but nothing empirical.
That's fair, yeah, because they're more in tune with nature, and that's kind of their thing. So
Right.
it wouldn't be surprising me if a druid was more interesting.
Right. Studies do show that blight druids don't have the same effect, though.
Well, she's probably not a blight druid then. That's good. Yes,
sorry,
go ahead. Sorry, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Seeing how we all seem, I guess Niev would seem normal. Is there a mirror around here? I want to look at myself in the mirror with true sight.
You can get a mirror. I think somebody has a mirror on them, right?
Probably.
Technically, I think Sanctuary's component is a mirror. Or no, is that something else?
Either way, you can get a mirror.
Doesn't someone
Okay.
have scrying materials?
No.
That's true.
That's actually 2E Sanctuary. You need a mirror. Anyway,
It's fine. You can find a mirror.
yeah.
And you can
I
take
want to look at myself. Do I look normal?
You do look normal.
Oh, okay. I'm not the shadow, thank God.
Just look in this mirror of opposition
Rafael.
that I have right over here.
That would be an
Um,
annoying fight.
Yeah. Who uses those?
Ghoul run attacks, ghoul run misses, ghoul run attacks, ghoul run misses.
Ghoul misses. Shadow Ghoul Run misses. I guess, yeah, after I'm satisfied looking over these things and the actual Vey parts seem to be what they are. Good luck, Niev. I've done what I can. It seems like it's as safe as it's gonna be.
Thank you. I'll kind of look at Antaeus. I'm like, do you have anything else just before I try this?
I don't have anything specifically prior to you trying this, but I have things prepared in the chance that something bad were to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go.
What are you Fae
So-
forming into?
I am Fae forming into a dryad.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that I'm doing that then with the component.
Oh, I was just going to use. I have the spell
Oh.
prepared.
Which
That's
Fae
right, I
form
forgot
are you
about that.
using?
I'm using Fae form 3.
Okay. Yeah. You can slowly adopt the form. And I have some questions as you do this. So, with your archetype comes a bit of a different way that this is going to function for you. You can either deliberately gain control. You can allow things to try to be equal. Or you can let the Fae form gain control. Which do you want to choose?
I want to try and make things equal.
Okay. I'm going to need a will save from you.
Okay.
I don't know if the bonuses from Heroes Feast take. Don't forget you have a +1 and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a good reminder. Looks like you rolled pretty well there, Niev. So yeah, you feel a bit of control, or you feel like a substantial amount of control, as your body slowly shifts. Your skin darkens and becomes firm and rigid, yet soft and smooth, like a freshly oiled and sanded piece of wood. Your hair kind of becomes very brittle and stiff, and shapes itself into a more perfect version of hair, but also unchangeable and malleable. A bit more like bark on a tree. your clothes kind of morph into your skin, and you take on the form of a dryad from head to toe. But you are mostly Niev in this form. But what you can feel in this form is that you are curious. Curiosity is like a strong driving motivator to you. A almost unhealthy curiosity. As you feel this sense of yourself kind of kicking in, there's so many questions that you want to know about these people. They're all very interesting looking to this part of you, and it wants to know all about them, and it wants to like have them sit and chat for a while beside the tree. And then it starts feeling panicked. Where's the tree? How can I be so far from the tree? I miss the tree. Is it gone? Did it die? Wait, and then you can feel it like wrenching at your memories, and it starts like feeling very sad in your head, and you can feel like a welling up sensation of like the realization that you saw the tree back in the forest, corrupted, evil, and angry. And this creature, they can never see it anymore because you're this creature and you've left it behind because humans were just too interesting. They live such short lives. They never get to try it again. They get one chance at all of this and then it's all over. The tree couldn't compete. You had to get away. You had to see the world. And you did for a few days. Until you withered and died. Gulran, as you look upon Niev, you know that your true seeing should show you just Niev, even with the changes happening. It should show her in her true form. But you instead see like a wood-tinted Niev that stands before you, like a superimposition of the Fae over top of her current form.
Yeah, I would just share this view I have with everyone else who's watching. Is she like doing anything specifically, or is she just kind of standing there?
No, she's just standing there at the moment. It seems like a lot is running through her head.
Okay.
How do I perceive the others? Do I perceive them as Niev sees them, or is it any different?
You right now perceive them as Niev sees them. You have tried to harness, so you just see you feel the curiosity of this creature, but you still see them as they are. At any time, you can attempt to shift in one direction or the other, one step. That would take a standard action to do so, though.
This is a lot. There's... The Dryad has a lot of curiosity.
Did she actually say this and we can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Careful.
I could let the Dryad take a little more control.
Actually, while she's doing this, I'm gonna see if I didn't think about that. I'm gonna check and see if her dialect has changed any.
Yes, there is a slight change, but it's very mild right now. It still seems like Niev is largely in control.
Okay.
I cast Detect Evil again.
She is not evil.
Why do you all look so concerned?
You're debating letting some strange creature have more control over you.
I'm curious to see what would happen.
I think we all are, but we're scared what will happen to you, but it seems safe from what I can tell.
I'm going to try and go a step more towards the Dryad.
Okay. Well, so a step is letting the Dryad have control.
Right. Okay. That's what I'm...
You can try to exert control back, but you are now willingly dropping, and the Dryad will be Niev.
Yes.
So what I want you to do here, this is a fun role-playing challenge for you, is imagine a Niev that didn't understand human civilization. A Niev that wanted desperately to understand a human civilization. A Niev that hasn't quite become the speaker, but has become an emissary for all who want to come into the forest. You're like the gatekeeper at this time of the woods. You can feel this protectionism in yourself for the woods, but it kind of brings you a great desire and interest and fascination with these creatures that come in and out of here, and they so desperately have so much to do and seemingly so little time to do it. And you'll live for so many years. I mean, for as long as the tree lives, you will live. And these things are rushing around trying to get so much done. I mean, elves you might see, more often in your life than some of these humans, but these humanoids, like, they're the official, they're like the real deal if there ever was a real deal. They might be dead before you really get a chance to truly know them. And here before you have a human, a dwarf, and an elf. You have like a whole variety of creatures to understand and to know and to learn about. Try to channel that into yourself, and there isn't anything major you have to do differently unless I say that there's something specific that needs to be amended.
Okay. Other creatures. Short one. What are you doing?
Excuse me.
Her dialect has definitely changed. There is a bit of a more sweet and woodsy sound to it. It sounds almost soothing, like the wind through the branches of a tree.
Like a kind of Sylvan-ish.
There is, some remnants of like somebody who probably learned Sylvan primarily and then learned Common from Sylvan.
My detect evil should still be up. Is there any evil emanation?
No evil.
No. My name is Goran. I'm a dwarf. And who are you?
I am.
Dryads don't really keep names per se. You are the dryad of your tree, and you can try to say the name of your tree, but it'll come out in Sylvan, and even knowing the name in Sylvan doesn't really translate in anything. You all just know like the name is the name. This tree is this tree. They don't have deeper meanings to their names.
If she says something I don't understand, I will cast Comprehend Languages.
Yeah. And you can ask her to repeat it, and she will say the same thing, which, weirdly enough, when she says it, I guess, because, Antaeus, you also speak Sylvan too, right?
Yes, actually.
So the words themselves kind of mean, like, this very specific tree. Sylvan has, like, 30 million words for tree, because a new word for tree is kind of made every time a new, like, tree of substantiality has been brought into existence. But universally, you don't learn these words, you learn the way that these words link together to more accurately describe the tree. So, like, the name paints a picture of the tree with the pieces of the name that are strung together, if that makes sense.
More or less. It's very interesting.
What does a Goran do?
A Goran gives thanks to Krasgaran, but it's not really important. What's more important is, why does an evil demonic creature have your remains?
You have no idea what he's talking about. You're muted somehow.
Oh, I am?
You're back now. I don't know why. Just for a moment, nothing was coming out.
A demonic creature? Huh?
Yes, the person you are in control of now, she received your remains from a very evil creature. Do you know how this has come to be?
No. I know my tree.
You remember how you died?
I was away from my tree, and I withered. I was so curious. What are you? I'm addressing Ivy.
Human? Kinda? I don't know.
What do you do?
Fight stuff, I guess?
Fight. Why fight?
Because our world sucks and there's lots of stuff to fight.
For survival?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sucks is a humanoid term for is bad, I guess, in easiest terms to understand.
Wilting tree.
Wilting tree wouldn't be good.
See? Antaeus? You're not so smart. I thought of that before you
Well,
did.
Wilting tree is an oversimplification of it, but I suppose that would apply in some cases, yes.
I speak better plant than you, and you're an elf. Have you
Is that
heard
so?
of
No,
elves?
I'll say in Sylvan to him.
I understood that.
He did not say back in Sylvan, though.
Are these two your pets? She's looking at Antaeus.
What?
Knowing that
I'm no one's pet?
Excuse me.
knowing that he has comprehend languages on, I'll refrain from replying yes to that. But no, we're companions.
But you live so long. Well, you live longer than them.
How do you know that? You know of elves? Maybe you didn't know what a dwarf was?
We see elves in the forest more than we see, more often than we see the others.
And you
The others
really
don't.
never see a dwarf. Like, if you've ever seen a dwarf, it's been at a distance, because dwarves seem to hate trees.
Dwarves like stone. They don't like tree.
True. Stone is a lot better. Have you ever seen a tree made of stone? Does that exist?
Out of character, I know there's a thing called a petrified tree, but I don't know if a dryad knows about that.
No.
I know of my tree.
Well, do you have anything important to tell us? Why would this creature have your remains, and why is our friend able to channel you through her? Do you know anything about this?
I don't know. My remains should go back to the tree.
You do know, though, that if you die, and if somebody were to have collected those remains, then you would birth into whatever your next part of the Phaean cycle would be, which is sort of determined by your desires and your interests, and sort of determined by what nature is deeming for you. There's like a kind of a pattern to the whole thing. So that could be how she would have this. Maybe she is some part of the long chain. But you don't really know anything about her, so.
I don't know the one you speak of, but maybe she is me.
You can't sense her inside you? She's channeling you right now. She lets you take control of her.
I don't know how to answer that.
If you choose to focus, you could let her come up, or if she wants to come up, she could push her way up. But right now, you can't really feel her when you have full control.
So you don't feel another presence within you then?
There's someone else, but she lets me speak.
So you haven't spoken to her specifically then?
Not really.
That makes sense.
I thought
Perhaps she is what I always wanted to be. I wanted to know more about people and what they do.
I believe there was mention that you're supposedly her past life.
Then that is why she has me.
Do you believe in that reincarnation?
Yes, that is the way of nature. When I die, I become more like what I wanted to be.
I think it would be remiss to not believe in reincarnation given the fact that there are spells that mimic that concept.
Yes, there are those that can force that cycle.
But I suppose for most humanoids, that's not a thing that's typical amongst us. But us.
Very fascinating. Live such short lives and hurry around. Yeah.
I didn't introduce myself. My name is Antaeus.
Oh, hello. What do you do?
Alchemy, I guess that's the easiest way of putting it. Research as well. Lots of research. Forgive me, I don't remember if Gulron asked, but do you have a name of yourself, or?
I am of my tree.
Ah, yes. My apologies. I'm not... Fey knowledge is something that's not as common around here as I would like it to be.
Perhaps myself can tell you these things?
That's a good point. Fey creatures. I think I've heard of dryads before, a little bit. But, is there variety in... easiest way to put this, alignments, I suppose?
You don't really understand what he means by alignments. That's not really a thing the Fae keep up on. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Sorry,
know what
that's
you mean.
probably a more clinical, magical term.
You feel a bit of a fever starting to come over you. You feel that sensation that you got when you were away from the tree too long, starting to wash over you. You can keep going, but it's just starting to come up.
I don't feel so good.
There's something
I
to
don't
do,
see
or...
my tree anywhere.
No, unfortunately, you're in the city of Knightsbridge.
There aren't many trees.
No, not many around here, unfortunately.
I got very far from my tree. I'm starting to feel bad.
Where was your tree located?
Deep near the center of the Fane Empire.
I don't remember if I found out where it was or not, but where... I don't know if it's impolite of me to ask, but where would that... Do you know where that would be as far in regards to location?
No.
I
No.
couldn't tell you how to get there.
How does something that's only lived in a small area in a forest tell you anything about the outside world?
That's fair.
Or have the concept of maps.
Yeah. You mean you turn you turn trees into things that you send information on?
I was already thinking that it would be a little sketchy about the books. if he explained books to me.
Hmm.
I don't feel so well. Perhaps I should let the other one come back.
As you say that, you shift back into Niev. The duration of the spell has expired.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel?
How do I feel?
What's your status?
That's kind of up to you. Niev just had the experience of being someone else and could see through the perspective of the other person and feel through the perspective of the other person. Something that, if you knew more about the mistress, you know she would love to be able to taste. But for Niev, it's probably however you kind of want to perceive that. However you think Niev would take that experience.
It was jarring to be so simple, but there was also a sort of a peace about it. I knew what I knew, and I don't know. I don't feel any worse for the wear, just very interesting sensation.
You don't still feel sick, do you?
No. I would I be able to make the leap that the beginning of feeling sick was kind of like
It's the hint that
ending?
the spell is ending.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'd just be like, I think that might have been just her feeling that her time was running out, the spell was ending.
That's good, I suppose.
Yeah. The way this was described to me is in this Feyan cycle, every time that I died, I would get a little bit closer to the ideal, what I really wanted, which was to be a human, a person. I can only imagine I probably got elf eventually because I wanted a long time to experience being a person.
That makes sense.
But thank you all for being here. I didn't know what would happen and if there would be any ill effects. It might have been a different story if I had chosen the stabby one.
Yes. Thankfully, we didn't have to utilize those prepared measures.
Well, I guess that's a good thing. I suppose if I'm ever in a desperate situation and I need to be stabby, then I know that I could become the stabby one.
Yes,
I wouldn't do
suppose.
that.
Well, I'm just saying, if
This
not...
creature seemed like a nice creature, giving you control back, but maybe that one wouldn't be so nice.
Well, it all depends on the force of will.
Yes, I guess if you're confident your will is stronger than theirs.
I did have to kind of choose to let the other one take control, but I felt like it would be pointless for me to just be in control and not... I felt safer knowing that she wasn't malevolent.
Yes, I'm just saying your choice in the matter may not just depend on you, but how willing they are to give you that choice.
Yeah, that's true.
I would just be careful about utilizing that creature.
Steve, do I still have some components of the Dryad, or...
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it's like a one...
No, there's enough for a few each one has enough for a few castings. You can put down that you have, I think, like 5 castings of each, so you can move that one down to 4.
Okay.
Well, 4 castings of the one.
Yeah. 5 of the rest. Lots of value
Well,
in
no, I
too.
mean, like, because of the one that she allowed me to take with me.
Yeah.
Oh, which one did... Oh, I let you take the dude, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 4 of the Dryad and 4 of the Dew. Well, this was all I had on my agenda for today. Did you all have anything else you wanted to see?
I don't think so. Just getting back to my work. If you guys are done with your craziness for one day.
I mean, for one day, how about some craziness for another day?
What do you mean?
Well, as I was saying, when I told you guys about the unpleasantness that Rion said to me, he was giving me information about the next steps in my curse, which maybe Antaeus has some information about. Have you heard of something below the shifting sands called, like, the Great Old Ones or something that have been sort of, like, captured or... Like, they're not dead, but they're just controlled?
Give me a
I
knowledge
don't know
history.
Oh, okay. So history, not any of my various other.
Let me see what else you have, but I think history.
I have law, para arcana, and arcana text. So I didn't know if para
No, this is not para arcana.
Okay. So history, I do have the other ones as well, but history is one of the lower ones.
So with that history check, okay.
Do I feel like
You have to decide before the results are revealed for mystery initiative.
Yeah. Let me think on it for a moment.
Okay.
I gotta take the worst one, apparently.
Yep.
Or the second one, rather.
Yikes.
I was hoping I'd roll better than a 9.
I don't know if I've had time to do my research on it yet.
You've done some, so I can combine that. So you can give me a knowledge history check as well at a +4 bonus.
I might as well just not. That just puts me at a straight 0.
And you could roll the natural 20.
I could.
And get better than Antaeus. Alright, no.
Oh, at least it wasn't natural.
So that totals to 5.
Hell yeah.
That bonus is because you've only had a couple of days to research it. So
that sounds like a thing I've heard of, maybe.
So with a 19, one of the things that you know is like what the legend is. The legend is that like long ago there were powerful things that were like cast into that area, and those powerful things like draw other creatures in with the promise of like great power or great renown, but nothing ever comes back that ventures into there. Nothing is ever successful, and many say nothing will ever be successful.
I haven't read anything, as far as I can tell, that's non-fiction about this, or that has facts to substantiate it.
No, you feel like with a 26 you would have, but with a 19, you definitely feel like you fell into the lower block of information. In fact, maybe
Perhaps
two lower blocks of information.
I thought it would be a harder thing to get, so I was like, well, I need a higher number. Perhaps I could do some research on that tonight, though. If I had a little more time to prepare, I'd be able to substantiate some of this.
Try to research it more, and I'll tell you the information I know for now, which is I spend some time sort of meditating with my weapon, trying to discern what I should do next, and it was telling me to go to the shifting sands, and that this great old one was only contained, but that I specifically have the powers needed to kill it and harness its powers. And it was making it seem like that was my next step, and I was kind of confused on it, and I was thinking of going and doing some research on the Great Old Ones when Rion happened to stop by my house, and he as well said that he had done research and taken an interest into everything me related, and again said step 1 was I needed to go to the shifting sands, and do something there. And then after that, apparently, going to the city of the no-name city, whatever it
Ever
is.
changing names?
Yeah, whatever, that place. The thing with the weird name shit, that place. Apparently, I have a twin brother. Apparently,
What?
I was born in the Fae lands or Fae place. Apparently, there was some sort of deal where the Fae got to keep my twin and my parents got to take me, and they were supposed to keep my twin, but somehow my twin is out, and he's apparently about to rule that city, and I'm supposed to stop him.
Wow, that's a lot of...
Yeah, Rion knew a lot. It was really weird and kind of creepy, and he alluded that doing all of this wouldn't really even solve anything. I wouldn't be saving anyone. I wouldn't be saving myself, and that's when he told me maybe at the end of it all I should just kill myself. I don't know. It was a very odd conversation.
Do you think that maybe I should see if I can find out more from the Fae?
I mean, I guess because you have a connection to them, it wouldn't hurt, maybe, but I also don't know how much I trust the Fae. No offense.
None taken.
Most of them have tried to kill me, and every time you get extra Fae, there's like stabbing involved or something. It's a little hard to
I'll hold
to
up the
trust
couch
them.
only if I become this one.
Or apparently try to cut me with a knife. But anyways, that's what I learned, and yeah, so that's some craziness.
Laurent, would you like to share any life-altering information that you've just come across?
I mean, he did have something that he was working on in his house that he had put away pretty hastily.
I don't know how you noticed that.
I mean, really, who cares what he's doing in his house? He's probably just remodeling.
Remember, we talked about this special Goron time.
Yeah, why are you so interested in his special Gulron time? That's kind of weird.
Well, it wouldn't be.
Sounds
A
like-
special Goron time is prior to Krasgoran. It's quite good.
Is that like
You
saying,
should-
"Oh, Krasgoran! Oh, Krasgoran"?
No, it's more.
Yikes.
Is
It's
it
more of a
Voltaire Supply?
chant and more of a stable voice pitch. I don't know why you would raise it like that, but perhaps you also join me in special Gulron time next time.
Nah, I'll pass.
Should I become the nymph before I do?
Why? Maybe. I don't. If that'll help you in prayers, I guess. I don't see why not.
It's okay. It's okay.
I feel like you're all making fun of me in some manner, and I don't get it.
No, Nia's just being awkward.
Oh. Must be some remnants of this Fey magic you were messing with.
So yeah, after we figure out what the Great Old One is, want to go kill it with me?
Great Old One or Great Old Ones?
It was.
I could try to talk to my weapon again and reconfirm. I don't really remember.
It's a very crucial. Is it singular or plural? Because
Okay, hold on a second. I touch my weapon. Hey, weapon, are you there? Can you remind me? Was it the Great Old One or the Great Old Ones?
Singular plural.
What?
There's that up.
Am I killing one thing or multiple things?
Yes.
Alright, good talk. It's both.
Okay, that clears that up.
Yeah, I'm super fucking confused. This weapon be a little
Sorry.
crazy sometimes.
Just how easy that was for you to do, but
You want me to ask something else?
No, I mean, I just remember it being a lot more difficult before to commune with it.
It was never difficult, just sometimes I heard things and sometimes I didn't.
I normally wouldn't want you seeking out such dangerous things, but I know this is important for you, but this sounds like it could be very dangerous.
I mean, beyond doing this for my wants, if what my weapon said is true, it alluded that they trapped the Great Old One or Ones or whatever because it's like a lot of chaos and it was causing lots of chaos in the world. And they were able to trap it and contain most of that chaos. But apparently the chaos in the world is because some still leaks out from it. And it kind of made it seem like I might be able to make the world better if I could actually kill it.
You asked me this a few weeks ago, I would have never hesitated, but you know me, I would sacrifice myself a million times before I would put you in danger, but seeking out danger is another thing entirely. I have my church now, and if I were to fall, I don't think I would get a second chance again. I don't want to leave this world without finishing my duties.
I was going to talk to you about that, Goron. I recently learned a spell that it allows me to do reincarnation, but you still come back as a dwarf. You just might be like a younger version of yourself or like a relative of yourself. Would you accept something like that?
How does this magic work? Does it kill the other dwarf? Like what?
No. It creates basically like a
vessel?
Let's see. Yeah. It basically just creates like something that would closely resemble your original form. If I could do this, would you be okay with coming back that way?
I mean, I'm not an expert in this druidic magic. I don't know. Would I still be myself? There's so many questions I would have. I don't know if Kraskaran believes in this magic. I don't know.
Well, perhaps it's something that you can pray to Kraskaran on and find out his wishes, but I believe you'd still be yourself. It's just you would have a different body, but it would still be a dwarf.
But, Goron, I know how much your church means to you, and if that is something you feel you must do, I understand, and obviously I won't think less of you, but just as doing your church is something you must do, figuring out and fixing this family curse or finishing and seeing this through is something I have to do, and I think I have a better chance of doing it if you're there with me, but I will be attempting to do it with you by my side or not by my side.
Hey, I do have a question. You said, what was it that Rion said to you about after you potentially defeat this?
I don't know. He was really vague and he was like whispering and being weird and Rion-y, but he said something along the lines like that I wouldn't actually be saving anyone or saving myself in the end and I should just kill myself. I don't know. He made it sound like I'm doing all of this, but I'm not even saving myself.
So if things were to go down the way that he's imagining they happen when you go there and you were to defeat, capture, whatever means it is that he had imagined, the curse doesn't seem like it would be lifted, maybe? I'm not sure. I'm thinking out loud, I suppose.
Honestly, I'm not that sure either. He didn't give me exact details. He just said some weird vague stuff about, like, in the end, things might just be better if I ended myself after I do everything else. So I don't entirely know, but I know that my weapon's been leading me down the line to fixing this family curse, and this is what it's telling me to do. And Rion also weirdly is telling me to do it. He also said if I killed my brother, I'd be rewarded by the city, or not officially the ministry, but I would be rewarded by others, which was a little strange.
That's the same city where the guy with the shadow thing told you to go as well, right?
Yes. With the
He
giant
said-
geminate.
Yeah.
The misogynistic asshole, yes.
Yeah, him. That dude.
Well,
As much as I initially reacted poorly to this Rion's message, maybe he was giving you a hint. Maybe in order to break the curse, you need to temporarily end your life and we bring you back with the magics. But this is just a risk I don't want to take. What if it doesn't work? What if you permanently die? What if there's so many unknowns?
I mean, I'm taking it one step at a time, and I know my next step is to go to the Shifting Sands, find this great old 1/1s, and defeat them and absorb their power, or take their power, or something along those
How
lines.
soon are you wanting to leave to do this?
I mean, I don't have like a set timeline, but I also don't want to sit around here for weeks upon weeks just thinking about everything and twiddling my thumbs. I don't exactly have anything to do in this city. I really only ended up here because I was searching for information on my father, and this is where I was led to.
you
This
have
is kind of
Mars. You do him, right?
I mean, yes, but he has his life and his work. It's not like I can ask for his attention 24/7 just because I'm bored.
Well, excellent. That actually leads me to a question then. Your abilities. We haven't really explored them very much. The magical side of your abilities. Perhaps if we found out more about that, it would, I don't know if it would be related, but it could potentially help us in defeating or whatever the Great Old One. And it would give us time to research this Great Old One as well.
Yes, obviously we need to figure out what we're up against if you guys are agreeing to join.
The only thing that I have pressing is I do need to speak with the dead person that they found by the tunnels. I don't know. I'm still waiting on word from Rion when that's going to happen.
Yes,
But
that
I
would be
can-
a good idea.
I can definitely check with the Faean Empire about your twin brother. You know, and I think perhaps knowledge is the most important thing.
Goran, you were able to undo some of the damage that her abilities did to her, yes?
Oh, what do you mean?
The magical side of her.
I repaired her? What do you mean? My make whole spell? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. If it works the way that I theorize, she could. I don't know. I believe if she, I don't want to say hurt herself because it sounds bizarre to say, but it would be able to unlock some more of that, some more abilities or something, perhaps more. She'd become more in touch with that side of her. But it's dangerous because it could take longer to heal than normal means.
Goran kind of raises his hand up and says, I want to help you all I do, but when I died, Kraskaran spoke to me. The only reason I'm in front of you now is because of that church that needs to be built. If I see him again in that hallway, and it wasn't dying from a statue following me in the church building, but because I went out and risked my life again,
Well,
I
what
don't
I'm
think
asking
he'd let
would-
me come back. I made
What
the
I'm asking-
promise to build that church. This was my regret that I didn't get to do in my life, and that's why he brought me back.
Yes. What I'm asking is if it would be possible for you to use your more divine magics in order to, if things seem to go a little too far, undo some of the damage that she's done to herself. Or that's
I'm
been
willing
done
to help
her.
you all as long as you're in town. I'll do what I can. Maybe there's I would beg
Well,
you
I
not to go,
propose-
but if you're sold on going, perhaps there's another cleric I can get to go with you.
I wouldn't
but-
propose doing these experiments outside of town because this would probably be the safest place for her to do them.
Fine,
least I know.
right outside of town or whatever.
Do you
I just-
honestly feel like, Goron, that if you went to Kraskron and asked him, should I help aid and do these things for my friends, or should I build a church in your name? Do you honestly believe that he would tell you building the church is the right thing to do for his followers? Is that truly what you think he would say?
With the context that I technically shouldn't even be standing in front of you. Yes. I think he would be saddened by me breaking my resolve to
But
fulfill my last will and testament that he allowed me to do.
didn't we
I
also
think-
make a promise to Ivy to help her with this?
I vowed to help her as much as I could. And I do want to help you as much as I can. But this is the work of the gods. If I were to fall with you, I don't think Kraskron would allow me to come back, and the church has not even started. The following would get off the ground, and Kraskron would go back into the depths of the mountains once more. I'm the only one who can do this. I am Kraskron's chosen.
But we do have a way to bring you back. I could even possibly bring you back younger than you are now.
Your druidic magic is powerful, Niev, but if Kraskron were to will me not to come back, I don't think you could bring me back. I
Well-
made a promise with the god himself that I would build this church if I was given a second chance.
Perhaps then you need to seek Kraskaron's actual will on this and find
I
out
feel
if
like
he-
his will is concrete. I feel like I may offend him by asking him to break a promise I already made with him.
I'm just saying, are you sure that this is his will, or is this just what you're thinking
is-
that his will is?
No, it was as literate as it could be. He asked me what my purpose was to go back, and I told him, and he allowed it. If that purpose changes, or I die before it's complete, if I were him, I would be offended. He didn't give me another chance to go out and risk my life. He gave me another chance to fulfill what I set out to do. Before I had to do those things to earn the other church's approval, but now I have it. I just have to build it.
With
Oh,
those
sorry, go ahead.
statements, why don't we take a short break? And when we come back, you can offer your rebuttal. See you shortly.
Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes, when you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes, when you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes, when you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance.
Gulran is arguing that he should stay.
So, Gulran, in what you're describing, I didn't hear that Kraskaran, you promised him you would make this your immediate work. It sounds like that, as long as you're working on building your church.
Am I working on building my church if I'm miles away, not even progressing it, looking for whatever it is in these sands? Every day there is something I'm progressing on. Every day I'm not here is a day lost, not going towards that goal.
Every day that I don't complete this, I'm a little bit closer to literally going insane. Do you want to see me go insane, Gulran? Would that make you happy? Because if I can't do this, I'll either end up insane like the rest of my family, or dead. If the church means more to you than my sanity, I will respect that, and I hope that you finish your church and that it is everything you always wanted. But until I take my last breath, I'm gonna fight to not end up like the rest of my family and go insane, or be resigned to doing what Rion would like to see me do and just end myself. But it is your choice, and I know you made your vows to Krauskram, and I will respect them. But just remember, it's not me risking my life for nothing and me asking you to risk your life for nothing. I'm literally doing this to try to keep myself able to just live a life, because without doing this, I might have a day, a week, a couple years, I don't know. But eventually, I'll end up just like my parents who, as you see, I had to imprison in my weapon because they were so insane. Because it is literally my family curse, and I literally watched my parents go through it. You think it somehow just skipped me when it didn't skip any of the rest of the generations of my family, apparently?
You said it caused them to go insane as well?
That's why I imprisoned them. I mean, I don't remember doing it, but I'm pretty sure that's why I imprisoned... Well, I imprisoned... If I'm remembering this right, I think I imprisoned my father in my weapon, but my mother is tied to him or something, and so then they both sort of got, I don't know, some weird imprisonment loop, but
yes,
it was because they went insane from the family curse, and same thing that will happen to me if I cannot figure out how to end it all.
That part still concerns me, that they were tied together in some way, shape, or form. But well, I suppose... Oh, go ahead.
I know that one of them was literally magic, and the other was an actual human. I don't know if that is how they were tied together in some way.
Perhaps that makes a little more sense, I suppose.
And that's why I'm kind of both-ish.
Do you have any recollection of events prior to that? Like childhood events, or how long it took them to start feeling the effects of it?
All my memory was wiped pre. I'm asking Steve. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, you lost like a lot of your memory. Anything that you remember is like, there's like little moments of like playing with toys or being a kid, but a lot
like
of that is
like vague memories of my childhood. But no, yeah, I don't remember any of the specifics. I have very hazy, vague memories of my childhood. I know at some point my parents were there. I remember training like my father, and then the next thing I remember is they're just both gone, and I'm by myself, and I had no idea why.
Do you remember seeing them? Do you remember what they look like? I apologize if this is intrusive in any way, shape, or form, but...
I mean, I'm sure I'd have vague memories of what they looked like, and then I literally saw my father, at least, in one of my dreams, so I think I'd have a little bit more concrete memory of what he looks like because of that. So I describe what I can remember.
Well, I suppose that's a good sign. Sorry, got lost in thought for a moment there. Yes, I mean, if everything works as you say it should, to the best of your knowledge, hopefully getting rid of this would break that, but the order of events concerns me with the way that Rion presented it. Going there first, taking this thing out, or doing whatever it was with this, and then getting rid of your brother, and then...
As far as I understood it, something about doing what I have to do with the old one will give me the power I need to be able to take out my brother. I mean, I could skip that step, I think, if I thought I was strong enough, but it seems like that step is good for me and good for the world, as it helps contain even more of the chaos in the world.
I'm trying to think of like how to word this. Does Does chaos being contained in one space sound like anything that I would have any idea of? That doesn't
Give me a
sound like
knowledge pair. This is where you'd get a knowledge pair arcana.
because that seems like a weird thing to be able to contain.
Okay. So you do remember passing over this idea. There is an idea that some abstract concepts are manifestable. They are like convertible to a manipulatable entity of some sort. So you might be able to let's think about the idea of you have 3 stages of matter. You have 3 states of matter. You have solid, liquid, and gas. Well, let's say there's something above gas that is conceptual. There's the conceptual idea of a thing. So the idea here is that chaos itself is in the conceptual level, but you can sort of cool chaos into a gas or into a liquid or into a solid or some measure in between if you can find the right binding components to do that, the right things that will bind and allow it to leave this state. Because naturally, concepts cannot leave their metaphysical level. They can't naturally move into that. Just like how water can't suddenly just simply become a concept and nothing more. It will remain in existence. It can get to steam. You can think about it as a concept, but you can't turn the water that you see into a conceptual idea without somehow bonding a thought to it. And that's what makes it conceptual. And that's what allows you to carry the thought of that water with you. So this is kind of like the inverse of that concept, where you remembering water is you turning water into a concept. You're turning a concept into a physical thing by bonding it with something. You are literally that far off from knowing how to do it. You've seen this. It's a part of the research you've been doing, having access to this raw arcana. You know that somehow this has something to do with it, and you know that this has direct linkage, as you think about it, to Ivy, a creature who is consuming shadows made of chaos, into her weapon. But she herself seems to be arcana, as if she can somehow bond chaos to physicality.
I'm probably gonna be rattling this out loud, trying to figure it out, and thinking that if I say it, maybe it would make more sense than just thinking it in my head.
That's all super interesting, but I don't know what else I can tell you, Golron. This is your choice. Only you know what's right for you, but only I know what I have to do, and I'm not going to sit around and let myself go insane like the rest of my family. I respect your decision if the church is your path, but I don't have a choice here. It's literally this or go insane, so I'm choosing to try and do something versus sit around and do nothing and just let it happen.
That's just me pulling it out to look at it and see if it's responding when she's nearby.
No, it has no effect at the moment.
I, of course, care about all of you more than some stone and bricks. But the church is more than that. It's an idea. It's my God. It's other clerics can go on an adventure while they leave other clerics behind that preach their word, but I don't have that luxury. There are literally no other clerics with Krasgran. I am
And
the
do you
only
think
one.
you are the only cleric of Krasgran that will ever exist? And the history...
I don't know.
It might not exist if he's not the one to perpetuate the information of Krasgran. I'm assuming is what he's getting at.
Exactly.
If he's not there to spread the word, then nobody would know about it.
You don't think there's ever going to be another person like you who comes across Krasgran and decides that...
I don't know. Do you want me to bank my God's future on that?
Golron, I don't know if this would be possible or if this is something that Krascon would be willing to speak to you about. But when you speak to him next, or when you pray, meditate to him, perhaps you could ask him about that, and if the concept of the old ones comes up, perhaps you could ask him about that as well.
The gods are not our toy things or a magic 8-ball to shake for an answer.
But that way you'd be able to
call
get some
upon
clarification.
I call upon my deity in times of great need or great misguidance. I know in my heart this is what I must do. Krascon will just reinforce that.
Well, again, Ivy said she'll respect his decision. I'm sure that, if we end up dying out there, that, it'll just reinforce your decision that it was right for you to stay. So.
I will. This is an important decision. I will. If you can give me some time, I will contemplate and meditate on this, and perhaps Krascon will offer some aid in here, but I feel like this is...
But in the short term... sorry, I thought you were finished.
I was just saying I would gladly sacrifice my life if you were in danger right here in front of me, but that Krascon could understand. But me going out seeking trouble when we need not do this, at least you haven't uncovered the details of your ailment. You haven't. What if this is another 30 years in the future when you were your parents' age?
Well, that's what I'm concerned about, is the magic side of her family. I'm wondering if there's a link between that and perhaps this curse. And that's why I'd like to experiment more on it. And because you've seemingly had ways to alleviate some of the issues, the physical issues, constitution-related issues with that. As long as we're still within the city, you'd be willing to work with her or us on that, I suppose?
Of course.
Let the man focus on his church. That's obviously what is on the forefront of his mind right now.
That.
Well, Goron, you have clearly made your decision for now, and if you don't mind, I have a lot of research to do to figure out the next step in mine. If you wish to speak to me, I'll probably be around Zigmar's for the next day or so.
Worthless to us, he is worthless.
The fuck?
That was to you, Ivy.
What did it say? Sorry.
Worthless to you, he is worthless.
Yeah, I'm dipping out at this point, and I'm gonna...
I will, before she leaves, I don't know how fast she leaves, but I will bring up that, perhaps, while you guys are doing this experimentation of her abilities and stuff, we could also practice, there's a spell that I have that will make doubles of me, kind of like Ivy, but it could damage you guys if you look at me while I'm using it. And I would like to practice, say a word, I want to say a safe word before I use this spell, that basically when I say this word, you do not look at me.
Pineapples.
Something like that, yes.
Do not look in the direction of you, unless specifically told you otherwise, I suppose.
I would try to not use this in anybody's line of sight, but I feel like that it might be a safer way for me to use the spell without without causing harm to you guys.
I think I have an idea of what you're speaking of.
Ivy definitely doesn't stick around for that conversation, by the way. You're like, I have this spell. No. See ya. I'm gone.
Alright. Well, I trust Antaeus to relay the information. I know she's kind of heated right now, so.
Yes, and I don't know where we actually landed on the experimentation thing. It was brought up, and I don't know if it was ever.
Of course, will aid you as long as you're in the range of the city, but
Thank you, but
I can't, in good conscience, put myself at risk anymore out of the unknown. If she had more information or was sure about the imminent danger to herself,
well,
maybe.
yes,
but I don't want to be. I can't be selfless anymore. I have to think of the church, the future of my God, and the future of my potential followers. It's all at stake and dies with me if I die.
yes. I'm not sure where she landed on it though, but I do appreciate you clarifying that. It'd be unethical for me to performing experiments without her consent on this, and I wouldn't be able to really accurately track the results, which I suppose is an issue in and of itself, but I feel like I'm right there. I'm going to start kind of jotting some notes down for me to look at later when I go do my research on the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay, Goron, you know, just, I guess, think
I
on
will,
it.
I will meditate on it and think, but in the meantime, perhaps I'll send some word out to the other churches, see if there's any clerics that are powerful that wish to aid you on this journey. It's the best I can think of right now.
Well, do as you see fit. It doesn't sound like we're going anywhere anytime soon anyway, but I think that the next step, obviously, is for us to try to find out more about this thing, or things, whatever, both.
Yes.
And, of course, I'll see what I can find out from the Fae.
Despite what Ivy said, and I would appreciate if you guys let me know what you find out before you do leave.
Of course. I wouldn't dream of leaving you out of the loop on this.
Yeah.
But yes, I didn't mean for you to be asking favors of your god or anything of that nature. I just thought that if perhaps you brought the information up to him, and if he chose not to bestow you with that information, that's fine.
I mean, it would make sense if this thing is under the ground and Kraskaron is like, that's his domain, and he might know more about it.
It's not really under the ground, it's more in the mountains. It's not really the same, but he was,
yes.
I did find him depth in a lower depth, but I don't believe the underground is Kraskaron's domain. Is more of stone and strength and things of that nature.
Somewhere that the information about him happens to be. Speaking of which, I'm gonna write down information about those things that we saw in order to remind me to look into those if I have some free time when I'm not looking into 12 other things.
Well, we can wrap up the evening of this, or the afternoon of this discussion. People can move about their separate ways. Ivy, do you head straight to Zigmar's after this?
Probably.
Okay. He's not there at the moment that you arrive, but you have the ability to let yourself in at this point. He largely trusts you, and there's always somebody around that can basically make sure you can get inside.
Yeah.
But not long after you get there, he'll arrive. It's been kind of odd. You've had this happen a few other times. Like, it's not but a few minutes or so after you get there that he seems to show up. But he'll arrive. Something go wrong?
Kind of, not really. I don't know. I've talked to you a little bit about my family curse and the weird stuff that's going on with me, and I have leads on what I need to do next to kind of like 2 major steps, and then hopefully I have the answers to fixing it. And seems like Antaeus and Niev are mostly down for helping, but Goron has now become obsessed with his church, and I don't think there's any swaying him to leave it, even at the cost of my sanity.
I know that these things work a little differently for... I suppose this is not the best time to make a joke. Even if I do think it is a profoundly funny one that would lighten the mood. But I do think there is a substantial difference between a woman being eaten and a man being eaten. And I think that thing would really change the perspective of a man much more than it would a woman. If obviously by that I mean the double entendre there, but also he was...
I get your meaning.
He was literally consumed by a creature much larger than him. I couldn't imagine what that would be like to experience. And that tends to leave a lot of trauma in a person. Especially if they had business that's crucially important to them. It is very...
I get it. I just don't understand how... You know, I guess I just don't understand the gods. I've never been one of the gods. I don't really get them. I don't understand how a god could ever say, like, yes, my child, please build this church over helping people in need who might die without you. Like, I mean, maybe that's what gods say to their followers, I guess. I don't understand it.
I would keep in mind that listen, I've seen a lot. And it's not every day that access to the kind of magic that could bring your friend back from after being eaten would be around. And the gods do sometimes have rules they have to follow, from what I've been told. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily Krazkaran's will or his own, that he's perceiving to be Krazkaran's will, but I will tell you that Gulran seems different in the couple of times I've seen him so far. And I don't know enough about these tenets of whatever this god he's following is, but maybe there's something that lies in those that might give the answer. I tend to find the best way to convince somebody of something is to convince something that it's something they should do in the first place because it's what they believe. I mean, that's the best way to make sure somebody buys another hit. Maybe you just have to find a way to sell them that adventuring hit just right. What is his god about anyway?
I don't know, something about resolve. That's all I really remember.
I would say maybe start there. If you really want to show your friend that you care, if you really want your friend to show that he cares, sometimes you have to put in a little care yourself. And speaking of that, we need to talk.
Oh, God.
It's not bad. I need to know where we're at on things. You're in a much better place than I am, and your life is about to probably bring to you you have choice in whatever you wish to have, and I would rather not be a burden or a nuisance to these things. I, of course, have my own options, but, you you've been better in many ways than others that I've had. But any man can be a secure man. But I want to know, what is this? What are we? Where are we?
It's a weird question for me. I don't think I've ever really done something like this seriously before you. I mainly just traveled looking for information on my family. I didn't stick in any one place for very long. I didn't really create ties with anyone. I don't, not to say it in a rude way, I don't feel like my options have changed. I'm with you because you're fun and you make me happy, not because I felt like I didn't have other options.
I mean, have you had other options?
I mean, I guess there was this one dude who was annoying and I fucked him to make him shut up and take care of our horses. Yeah. That was, he tried to be obnoxious and we were trying to make sure our room would get taken care of and our horses would get taken care of, and he was saying some weird ass shit about I don't remember, there might have been some talk what do I get out of this, or why should I basically made him not able to walk, and he said he'd do what I wanted, so.
You did that to someone?
Yeah.
This is the first time you've ever seen him just kind of stunned. You want to take a break from this conversation?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go over to... This is hard. Niev.
Okay.
You've kind of headed back home. I'm assuming, unless you had somewhere else you wanted to go afterwards. I guess you were at home, technically. Sorry.
Yeah.
Everybody else is headed home.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does Antaeus or anybody else stick around afterwards, or does everybody just kind of go their way?
Head home.
I have quite a few things that I needed to do, but so, yeah.
Okay.
So I got a bunch of stuff research and stuff to do tonight. Yeah.
So Niev, you are kind of left in the yard. As everybody kind of goes off on their own way.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of left there with your thoughts. What are you thinking about as Gul'ran kind of leaves behind this sentiment of not wanting to help?
So Niev is she's actually kind of a little bit sad because she's already sort of having to come to terms with eventually she's going to have to leave all of these people to go back to her home. And even though she wants to go home and she wants to see her family again, there's this sadness of having to leave these new friends that she's found. And so it just feels like that this is happening sooner than she thought, because Goron, with him not, she understands what he's saying and why he feels the way he feels, but it's at the same time it's before, it's never been a question of if we needed to do something, we all did it together. And so she's feeling a little bit sad and kind of she even though she has her differences with Ivy, she still wants to help Ivy. You know, in some ways she does relate to Ivy wanting to know more about her family, about her past, you know, and she kind of is on a similar journey with this whole Fae thing. She's also really intrigued about what Ivy said about her having a twin brother, and she's kind of wanting answers like, is that really a thing? You know, she's kind of wanting to know more about that as well. So that's kind of...
Where would Niev go with these feelings and these questions?
Well, Niev is probably going to do something a little bit stupid. She knows that plant has a portal to the Faean Empire, and so she's going to, at some point, she's considering just doing the transport by plants to go back to the Faean Empire and try to find out this information.
And how likely is it that she ends up doing it?
Pretty likely. And she honestly, there's a part of her that she doesn't want to tell anyone else that she's doing this because she doesn't know how well she's going to be received. And so she's like, she doesn't want to endanger anybody else. So it's kind of like a, you know, I want to get these answers and probably do this by myself.
So Niev probably spends the day like trying to busy her mind with other things, but eventually succumbs to that nagging, like, there's probably answers just beyond the portal.
Yeah.
And you will make your way through it and back into
Hunter?
Sure, I get the right track here. I think it was this one.
I mean, Hunter goes with me everywhere, so I guess Hunter would be with me.
You move... Oh, no, that's not the right track. Damn it. This one. No, that wasn't it either. Damn it. I lost the track because I didn't name it. Terrible. I gotta learn to name these tracks once I put them in here. I'll put on this, and maybe it was this. I don't remember this track at all. That is not it either. Damn it. Just do this one. This is fine. That's too loud though. No, that's really not the right one.
I love you.
Love you too. Damn it, I need to be better at this. That's not the one I want. Might be this one. That's more on lines. So you step through the portal, and you once more find yourself in the big opening. It's a little loud though. Niev, you have returned.
I have.
What brings you back to us?
I have curiosity. I recently communed with my dryad side, and I feel that I have some questions.
We may have answers that you seek.
I recently learned of a set of twins that are said to have been born in our empire.
Do you remember how long ago?
I don't know. They were...
You would know Ivy's around 18. Now, I don't know if anything wonky has been done with her, like, age, but, I mean, you would know my general-ish age.
Maybe between 15 to 20 years ago?
it will breathe out in a very heavy sound. The Empire hasn't existed for near a century, but twins born near the edge, were they of our kind?
They were. The one that I know of was almost pure arcana, pure magic.
So the phase storage fail. Did he escape?
Yes.
And the girl awoke.
Yes.
You've forgotten much. You are the deal maker. I am surprised that I must educate you on these things.
I have forgotten much. I was the one that made this deal.
To keep the child, the other. They would take her. They would train her, teach her. However, complications, issues arose. Forced to sleep, it would place her.
She seems to lack her memories. And from what I hear, he is set to take over the town of ever-changing names.
They would both be of great power. Their years are not the same as others. They age slower, like the form you currently have. One of them could be half or less the time they've lived in physicality and feel the time differently. What one of them could do in days is the same as what we could do in hours. I'm sorry, in months. More time they have for more time.
Why were they made to be apart?
The bond would be strong between the two of them. One would easily corrupt the other, but we knew not for certain which would be the worse of the two. We kept them separated, knew what must be done to each one if the time came. Clearly, if yours is as old as it is, then it also had problems. Ours had to be stored rather quickly. But you know humans and their empathies and curiosities. Find a held man in the woods, and their first intention is to let him free. Ask minimal questions and accept whatever story is told. I assume that whatever woke Ivy was similar. Perhaps not.
Well, that makes a little bit more sense. She was supposed to be with her parents. Could her parents have awoken her?
Her parents would have put her to sleep. We gave them magics to contain themselves should things go problematic. If they fell victim to their curse, or if she started to sooner than expected.
Do you know how long typically this curse takes to manifest, to drive them crazy?
We are uncertain. They brought us what they knew about it. We just gave them what utilities we could. The cities, this country, wanted little to do with their problems. Accused them of being insane and threatened to send them away. It was only us that would listen to them. Only us that cared.
Do you know what might happen if she kills her brother?
We do not understand their magic. Only that it is dangerous. Only what the worries spoke of. If the more of themselves they gather together, the more of the pieces of what they are they gather together, the less them they become. Stronger they become, but the less them they become. They spoke of a cure for the curse, a final quest given to the eldest one, but could not confirm its factuality. Said the gods would not answer the question, so they spoke to another. Another who refused to name themselves, who refused to be identified.
Do you know anything about what slumbers under Wasser?
Something that would be better free than contained.
Well, thank you for the information.
You're welcome. Which one did you try?
The Dryad.
He'll slowly kneel down to you. You may worry about the instability of your most like themself. But rest assured, that one has the most answers that you'll probably seek.
Thank you.
You will rise back up. What word do you have from their city?
I delivered the message, but I have not received a response yet.
Please let me know when you do.
I will.
Thank you. And I think that is where we'll end for tonight. Good night, everyone, for watching.